Hello, welcome back. I haven't been on this channel for a little bit and I'm loath to make excuses, but I am doing Camp Nanowrimo. So for those of you who don't know, Nanowrimo is a challenge that usually goes on in November, National Novel Writing Month, but they also do a little edition in the summer for anyone to join in on, and that is in July, where we are now, situated when the usually the challenge is 50,000 words, which is something I did a while ago, but this time I decided to challenge myself in hours, so I'm trying to spend 100 hours in July, which is more than 2 working weeks, on my writing project, which is a book, which by the standards of how I'm working at the moment will be finished in about 10 years. I super missed making videos and I have been getting some amazing books through the post recently. So I thought I'd do something you guys always lap up, and that is a book haul. The first book, it should be a surprise to 0.001 of you, but my book is set in London, and I kind of have pockets of knowledge about London, the stuff that I learnt at school, the stuff that I learned when I go on walking tours on my own, but I really just wanted an overview, and this book seems to have always been around bookshops and charity shops when I've been around, and I've never picked it up because it's fucking huge. This is London, a novel by Edward Rutherford. Seems to be quite an eccentric character because he's also written one on New York and Paris. It is, from what I can tell, a series of smaller books with characters and plot lines, but essentially based on really accurate history from the beginning of time, but like really the plot starts getting going in Roman times to the present day. I've also never tackled a book this big, I don't think, ever, and I think it would just be a really cool achievement. I set myself the challenge of reading 52 books this year, but you can get very focused on that and then be like, oh no, I've got to finish all the books. It can make you reach for the tiny little books, and that's okay, but only hearing from people who write tiny little books probably isn't a good way to build a worldview. So I am picking up this, and if it thwarts my 52 book challenge, so be it. I was sent What Would Boudica Do by E. Foley and B. Coates. The authors of this book are actually 2 remarkable women who work at my workplace, Vintage Books. They've been published by Faber, and the idea is that they're everyday problems solved by history's most magnificent women. Each chapter starts with these beautiful illustrations of the women, and it's... Hello, Craig.
Oh my god.
Come in.
It's YouTube star Just Kiss My Frog, aka Lena Norms. Also, just a side note, when I was walking through here earlier, I saw that book. What is it? Have you that one? The one that you're talking about? I was like, oh, I kind of want to read that.
It looks really good.
I know nothing about her, but that cover is enticing.
I know. It's like Boudica on sticking up for yourself, Rosa Parks on standing up to bullies. You're not going to make it in.
Get back, Roman hordes, give me Boadicea.
See you. It feels like Good Night Stories for Rebel Girls meets self-help books, which are 2 of my favourite things. Emily Dickinson and Defying FOMO, Betty Ford and Knowing When to Stop, George Eliot and Not Being Hot. Is this a contents page or a poem? Boudica and Sticking Up for Yourself, Mary Wollstonecraft and Calling Yourself a Feminist, Emily Pankhurst and Getting Stuck In, Frida Kahlo and Finding Your Style. Just got Boudica on the front with a Starbucks cup. I mean... Next we've got the Night Circus. I got this from work. I had to pick it up because it's one of those staple vintage books that everybody talks about, and I've never read it. The premise is on point. The package is beautiful. What could possibly go wrong? Everybody else that I've ever met seems to have read that book, so if you have, let me know what you thought about it in the comments. Kate Morton has a new book. I read The Lake House when I was interviewing her in Cornwall. We did a little tour of Cornwall together when I worked at Pan Macmillan a few years ago. Apart from being one of the cleverest and most brilliant women I've ever met, she's also, luckily, an amazing author. Kate Morton writes these really haunting, vivid, twisty, turny books, usually set in manor houses and old houses in period times. I can never guess the endings, and I don't understand why. It's a source of great annoyance for me, but that's why I keep coming back. I'm like, but Kate, how did you want? They're books that will make you feel comfortable and then outsmart you. This new one is The Clockmaker's Daughter, and it is coming out presently September the 20th, so I'm gonna read that and let you guys know what I think. But I'm gonna like it. Bad Choices is another book by the author of Bad Arguments, which is a book I talked about a few videos ago, all about ad hominem, straw man, all these terms for ways you can explain to people why they're wrong, or people can explain to you why they're wrong, but I mean, I find the former more useful. This one is about how algorithms can help you think smarter and live happier. And actually, I wanted to learn more about algorithms because ever since reading a lot of articles about how algorithms are bad and what they're doing to you and how they're this new scary concept. I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure the principle of an algorithm isn't like a new thing. So this is a really short book I'm gonna read, because the idea of choices and consequences and probability and narrowing things down has gotta just mean more than what ads you're served, right? I haven't read YA in a while and I kind of miss it, so I bought Spare and Found Parts by Sarah Maria Griffin. Technology has destroyed the world and now they live in a kind of analog mechanics world. Most people are missing a limb and have like a mechanical limb. For various reasons, she has a lot of pressure on her from her family to advance technology, and she decides to build herself another person, potentially a boyfriend, I think. Sounds interesting, and also beautiful cover. And also Suicide Club. Again, this is a dystopian future where they're just on the brink of making people immortal and being able to live forever. And there's this rebellious club called the Suicide Club who deal in sex and drugs and rock and roll. And I think the main protagonist gets swept up in that. Well, when I explain that out loud, it doesn't sound that great, but I'm really excited about this one. I think I've read so many good reviews about it, and I think the execution will be good. And lastly, some bloody lovely people got in contact with me a while ago and told me they might make this, and said, if we do, can we send you one? And I was like, oh, yes. I've never really had a subscription box for books before, mainly because, as you can see, I accumulate them quite well on my own. But this is a beautiful subscription box called Books That Matter, and I think they've just got a grant to start the company, so I think it's going to be really one to watch. You open the box, and we've got tissue paper, a little letter about what the Books That Matter is about. So they're aiming to send books out that really matter, that could change you, that are like politically or socially really important, and are mainly written by women. They're really focused on being intersectional. It's all ran by women, and I mean, what is not to like? We've got a little mirror. This is girl gang on it. Yes. Got some really sweet bookmarks. A little handwritten note from Molly Masters, who is the person that has created this. Another badge. Feminism includes giving other women the freedom to make choices you would not necessarily make yourself. I mean, they're not wrong. Then a beautiful book all wrapped up, and this one is Nina Is Not Okay, which is actually one we read for the Banging Book Club, which is a podcast I run with my friends Hannah and Lucy, and we read books about sex and gender. This is one that we read, and it was one of my favourites of last year. Was it last year? So the fact that they've chosen that one, I'm very impressed by, and I'm going to be giving this one away to a friend, actually probably to the Gumption Club. The Gumption Club is my Patreon pals who support this channel, and in exchange I give them poetry and occasionally free books. So that will go to one of the Gumption Club. Presently, look at this box. Adorable. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below if you've read any of these books and what you thought about them, and which ones, what order I should read them in. And until next time, Frogs Nog out.
Alright. I can't focus on what needs to get done. I'm on notice, hoping that you don't run. You think I'm tepid, but I'm misdiagnosed. 'Cause I'm a stalker, I seen all of your posts.